Everton versus Tottenham tonight, massive game, massive implications for both clubs in relation to top four aspirations, Europa League aspirations. Now, personally, I don't think Tottenham or Everton will get into the Champions League spots this season, and I don't think they will next season either. And I'll go into detail a bit more why I think that. A few months ago, we had an Everton fan on the pod just after Everton had beat us, so obviously it was a bit of a ring stinger for us getting a blue shite on just as we'd been beaten by them. And I said at that point I did think Everton would get Champions League football, despite not having any identity as a team. And the reason I thought that they would is because I thought West Ham were, going to fall off. I thought Leicester may fall off. Chelsea hadn't quite had the resurgence that they've had under Tuchel. And obviously we were on our arse as a team, Liverpool. So I didn't think they would really have much opposition in relation to getting fourth place. Leicester have maintained a level of form. It's getting to the point now where Leicester typically, as we've seen last season, do fall off. But we'll have to see what happens. But that's besides the point. I did think at the time Everton would get top four. I never really thought Tottenham would get top four. When Liverpool played Tottenham and we beat them at Anfield, Firmino scored the last minute winner. Tottenham were being touted as the next title contenders. They were, the next pretender in a long line of clubs that could have took that title from Liverpool. I never felt like Tottenham were in the title race. I really didn't. I never felt that United were in the title race. When Liverpool were 4 or 5 points clear at Christmas, you always knew City were going to come back because there's no pressure on City. City are playing like it's training and it is what it is. But as these two clubs meet today, I find myself looking at them and thinking they're so similar in so many ways. The managers that they've both got at the club are legends of the game, but they're both pragmatic managers, and they're both managers of the late to mid 2000s, if you like. Mourinho, burst onto the scene after winning the Champions League with Porto. The battles he had with Liverpool and Rafa in the 05, 06, 07, 08 seasons, Champions League, in the Cups. Based on pragmatism and solid fundamentals of the game, Makelele coming in as the first real six holding midfielder that we'd seen in the Premier League, in the modern Premier League, if you like, was kind of the catalyst to Chelsea's game. And then you've got Ancelotti, who's the same. Now, Ancelotti, he might be a bit of a false dawn at Everton here, and I'm not going to slag Ancelotti off because I'm a big fan of Ancelotti, but I'm sure he's been sacked from his last 4 clubs. I seen an image someone sent me the other day. His last 4 jobs he's been sacked from. Again, like Pep, he's only done it with the best of the best. Went to Napoli, didn't really do nothing. But obviously Napoli is a top level club still, but couldn't really pierce the grip or the stranglehold that Juventus have had on Serie A for so long. And then he's took the challenge at Everton, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's great. He can prove himself at the club. Now he's been at the club now for over a year, 16, 18 months or whatever. They've made some good signings, but there's still no identity in their game. And it's the same with Tottenham, and that's where I'm drawing the similarities from. Tottenham have got all the players in the world to challenge for top 4. Kane, Son, Moura, Dele Alli, despite his form, is still technically an excellent player. They've got good centre-halves, they've got solid midfielders with Højbjerg, and Ndombele's had a fantastic season. I mean, maybe it's just me being a Liverpool fan. When I watch Ndombele, I see what I thought we were getting with Keita, and obviously that's not materialised. And I look at Spurs and I look at Everton, and I think, how much more money is it going to take for Everton to develop a style of play? They've had injuries. Tottenham had injuries last season. When Kane dropped into that position he's adopted this year, and Son was playing it ahead of him, we've seen a really different Tottenham side, but still very negative and very pragmatic behind the ball, waiting for that one pass, waiting for that counter-attack. And it's too hard to score goals that way. And that's what I find with Everton as well, and DCL. Everything has to go through him to get a goal. I think he scored 14 or 15 in the Prem, and the closest person to him is 6, and I think it's Richarlison. Now that's too much of a gap or a void between your top 2 scorers. You need to have more more players that are scoring goals from different positions, like Liverpool normally have, which we haven't had this season. Now, I'm looking at that game today, and I think both teams are going to finish in the Europa League spots. I don't think any of them are going to get Champions League football this season. And to be honest, I don't think any of them actually deserve to get Champions League football this season. Now, I'm not saying that Liverpool do, but given the injury crises that we've had at the club, the amount of random things that's gone wrong, Alisson's dad dying, Klopp's mum dying, all this madness that has been surrounded with the centre halves this season, to get top four this year, it could be one of Klopp's greatest ever achievements, to be honest with you. Now, he's won the Champions League, he's won the Premier League, and he's won everything. He's won with Dortmund. But to finish top four with all these teams challenging for it, it's tight as it's ever been. No fans, COVID season, obviously everyone's contesting with that. It may really be a massive achievement for the club if he can do it. People want to talk about how many games Liverpool have lost this season. Everton haven't lost that many less. I don't actually know if they've lost more, but the home form's nearly been as bad as Liverpool's. It's just because Liverpool have had such a dominant home form over 2-3 seasons. We've had 8 to 9 players that actually have never lost at Anfield, and they still haven't lost at Anfield in the league when there's fans there. But that's, neither here nor there. That it seems like such a monumental fall off to where we are now. We had a mediocre Champions League campaign. I think the results against Leipzig kind of got all our hopes up, but I think you could see straight away against Madrid away, we were outclassed in the midfield, and that's nothing to be embarrassed about with Casemiro, Kroos and Modric. It's pound for pound, probably top 2-3 midfield threes on the planet, and maybe over the past 5 or 10 years as well, it could match up with any of them. But I think tonight's going to be a very interesting game. I do expect it to be a draw. I think both managers would rather not lose it than try and win it, and that's what they're like, is they're both pragmatic managers. Now, I worry for Mourinho because, if he doesn't win anything this season, which he's not going to, and he doesn't finish in the top four, how long will Daniel Levy stay with him? Now, apparently Levy likes him, and it's probably because Levy himself is a pragmatist, and, they're both probably quite negative in their demeanour and their outlook towards the game at the minute. I think Mourinho's lost that pep that he had in his step, excuse me pun. But I don't think his job can be safe. Now, Ancelotti's job is safe. He's going to get the time he needs at the club, probably spend another couple of 100 million, and we'll see what happens. But if you look at West Ham, you look at Leicester, you look at Chelsea, you look at Liverpool, obviously Man United and Man City, they've all got styles of play. Now, already, Tuchel's been at the club, 6 months? Look at the style of play he's implemented at Chelsea already. He's got that German organisation running right through the team. They're a well-oiled machine. They can adapt in the 3 at the back with the 2 wing-backs, or they can go back to a traditional back 4 and overload the midfield. They've got class in there with Havertz, who will come good. Werner, not sure about him, but Mason Mount, fantastic player, a bit of a maverick player in the midfield, if you like. And he's coming on even better under Tuchel. Liverpool are still playing their style. Alright, it's harder to break teams down. We've got so many players off form, Mane, Firmino, so many of the backline injured, all that jazz. Henderson injured in the midfield as well, but they're still playing their style of football. City, obviously, as stylistic as you can get. And Man United with that really aggressive counter-attack with Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani, who's been a brilliant signer for them this season, and it'll be a loss if he leaves. But all these teams above Everton and above Spurs have it. Yeah, Everton Spurs have that style of play. They have their identity. Even Leeds, who we're playing on this week, have got an identity. Everton and Tottenham don't. It's like watching players that you've just bought from different teams and put them into the same team. The only thing they are is organised, and organised isn't enough anymore in the modern game. And it wouldn't be enough, I can guarantee you, if Everton fans were at the stadium, they'd be booing, because they always boo when it doesn't go the way. And you're well within your rights to boo when it doesn't go your way as well. But, they'll boo a player who's never played in the league, for his entire career, and he'll do a bad touch, and half time he'll be on his fucking arse, I can guarantee. Tottenham and Everton, I look at them, very similar at the minute. I don't think they're breaking into the top 4 anytime soon. You'd imagine the likes of us are going to kick on. If West Ham get top 4, think of the investment of the club there. Very attractive club, big stadium, Champions League football. Looks like they're nailed on for at least Europa League, and that'll be a massive achievement. Looking at the game tonight, I'm expecting a 1-1 draw, maybe a 2-2 draw. it depends on how the defences line up. If there's any mistakes in the back, Tottenham's back line's got their mistakes in it with Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez. They have got mistakes in the side. Don't think either team's going to put their neck on the line. They'll probably think, we can't lose a Europa League place in this game, so there's no point trying to win the game. There's still good 7-8 games left to secure that top 7, top 8 positions, whatever it might be, with this Europa Reserve League and whatever, how many trophies City win, will probably, yield another place in the Europa League anyway. I do think Everton and Tottenham have got a long way to go before they get into the Champions League. And I do think they're going to have to develop some style and fast. There's going to be fans in by the end of the season, and fans don't want to tune in to watch negative pragmatic football, which we haven't enjoyed watching since 2010. Teams need to be more expansive, teams need to be more aggressive on the press and play better when in possession. I don't think Tottenham and Everton have got those players at the minute. So it'll be an interesting lineup. I'll be tuning in myself. Hopefully it'll be a draw and Liverpool can kick on, snatch one of those top 4 places, or even 3rd place if Leicester's arse go again, but we'll see.